How are you guys doing? Welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at the Peakdefi, a launchpad that we are going to be discussing, reviewing. We're going to see if this launchpad is anything good for you guys to invest in. We're going to see what investment opportunities there are on this launchpad. They've only done one launch, so it is not there's not a lot of data out there, so it can be quite tricky to navigate these kinds of launchpads and to review these kinds of launchpads. So we're going to go over whatever we do have, and if that's what you're interested in, please make sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned as we go over Peakdefi Launchpad. Alright everybody, before we get into this, please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also note down, I'm not a financial advisor, so all of the information and all of the advice I will be giving today is not financial advice, it's for educational purposes only, so always keep that in mind. With that out of the way, let's get started right away. I'm excited. So Peakdefi joined the next crypto unicorns. Peakdefi is the official DeFi asset managers partner of West Ham United. So we're first going to go over the website, see what we can do on this launchpad, how it works. Then we're going to move over to the white paper and the token. So let's get into this. Tiered system is always the first thing we look at. How much do you have to pay and what will you get in return for it? After that, we look at the projects to see if the investment was actually worth it, right? The projects is what is going to make sure that the investment is actually a good one or not. So let's first see how much we have to invest in the first place. The first tier is tier 0. You will need to stake at least 1,000 peak tokens and your pool weight will be 12. Tier 1 will be 10k, pool weight 22. Tier 2 will be 5k with a pool weight of 24. Sorry, excuse me, this is not 5k and this is not 10k. This is 10k, 50k, this is 1k. Here we see this 100k for tier 3. And so on and so forth. So before we start calculating how expensive this is, let's read what they say about it first. Our tier system covers 6 different tiers in total. We have 5 tier 0 to tier 4 public sale tiers and 1 private sale tier. That will be tier 5. During some IDOs, the private sale tier offers our investors reduced token price, but also other vesting conditions compared to public sale tiers. So tier 5 is the only one with the VIP assets, which basically means that you will be able to participate not just in public sales, but also in private sales. Now, private sales are very lucrative as those are basically the best rounds to participate in. They're best for both company and investor in terms of risk versus reward. So they are by and large the best rounds where you want to be participating in. Now, normally launchpads only do public rounds. Now, sometimes they will take care of private rounds as well. In this case of Peakdefi, they do, but you will need to have at least tier 5. Now, let's see how expensive these tiers actually are. So starting with the current price of Peakdefi, we're seeing that it's at 1 cent. So we're going to do 1 cent. And do that times 1,000 to calculate the price. So $11 will be required for the first tier. Now the first tier appears to be a guaranteed allocation, meaning you will not need a lottery ticket or whatever. As you can see, once an IDO pool is open, the pool stays open until the tickets are sold out. Until the pool reaches the time limit. If an allocation gets not sold out, the remaining tokens will be split between the other tiers according to their pool weights. All right, so we're having no mentions of any lotteries, so we're assuming that everything will be a guaranteed allocation. Okay, the tier system dynamics, I want to get to the right pool. Yeah, okay. So for just $11, which is actually quite cheap, you'll be able to participate in Peakdefi. Now, moving over to the tier 5, which is actually another interesting tier because this will give you access to the private sales. That will give you also a pool weight of 3. So that will be the largest pool weight compared to all of the others. So we're seeing here 7, let's see, okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we do that times 1 cent. So we're looking at, man, look at this, $110,000. Are you serious? That is a ridiculous amount. Okay, so we are looking at some serious money for the biggest tier. I can't believe that, really. So we absolutely went berserker, right? We have this first tier for only $11, And then we have the highest tier with over 100,000 that you will have to spend. So very big numbers on the charts right here. So that does give access for multiple investors, right? You have the small investors that are going to be able to invest very small amounts into Peakdefi, and you have also tiers for the very big investors that want to go crazy. And private sale is definitely not something you will be able to have access to unless you have a very large sum of investment ready to put into the Peakdefi Launchpad. So with the tiers basically out of the way, let's move over and take a quick look at the projects to see if the money is actually worth it or if this is way overpriced for the projects that they launch on Peakdefi. So before we do though, a quick tutorial on how to participate. They put it down on the website, pretty easy to read. Let's go over it real quick. First, you need to do the allocation staking. By staking Peakdefi, you earn allocation in IDOs. If you do not want to participate in one of our IDOs, you can still benefit from our staking, right? So this is just normal stuff, right? You stake, you get staking rewards, and on top of that, you'll get access to the allocation. No lottery tickets involved. Then you will have to do the KYC. So United States citizens will unfortunately not be able to participate in the Peakdefi Launchpad. And then you will get the whitelisting for the IDO. During the whitelisting period, you must confirm your interest in participating in one of our IDOs. Once whitelisted, oh, they're missing a space here. Once whitelisting period closes, you will not be able to participate until another whitelisting period of another project starts. So keep in mind that after you've done your staking and your KYC, you actually have to go to the IDO you're interested in and ask for a whitelist. So if you do not do that, you will not get whitelisted. Keep in mind that you do not have to participate in a project if you don't want to. So staking is a good thing regardless, so that you have the option to participate in one of the projects and will yield your staking rewards. Okay, so that's the process. Now looking at the upcoming IDOs, we're seeing 2 to be announced projects, so we don't have information on what that's going to be. Looking at the background, it looks like they already have design, so I think that the project already knows what IDOs are next up, but they're not sharing it with the community yet. As for the already announced upcoming IDOs, we see Blow Workers and Sleep. Sleep will launch at the 14th of September, so that is almost. And the tokens sold and the tokens for sale are still to be announced. Now you have everything here, right? You have your description. Sleep is the first Web3 lifestyle app with SocialFi and GameFi elements where users can earn ZZZ for sleeping, relaxing, and putting their phone away. So a pretty cool concept over there. It's going to launch within a couple of days. Now keep in mind in a bear market, it's rather difficult to find these IDOs and these projects to launch on your Launchpad. So to see already 2 in the pipeline and another 2 soon to be announced is a pretty good outlook for Peakdefi. Now we're going to look at these projects real quick. I'm going to look at their website to really see if they're actually looking quite bullish. Now again, they haven't happened yet, so we cannot review a TGE. We don't know how they have performed. All we can look at is just what it looks like basically. So this doesn't look like Sleepers. Let's see here. This link didn't work. That's weird. So this is for not found, so we can only review the other BioWorkers IDO. So be prepared for the BioWorkers. BioWorkers is a play-to-earn game designed to be played on mobile platforms for now, with cross-platforms planned for the future. The game is inspired by 2 of the most popular mobile games of all times, Temple Run and Hill Climb Racing. Okay, so it's one of those runner games. Now, is there any form of... Yes, there is gameplay. So this is basically the game. It's going to be on mobile. Tomb Run, I think that's what the game was called. No, Temple Run, of course, Temple Run. We all played it when we were younger, right? So Temple Run was a pretty cool game and it performed very well, very popular back in the day. So they are using that concept on the mobile platform and made it into a new type of feel, a little bit of a dark apocalyptic outlook. Looking pretty awesome, and of course it will be play to earn and you will have Web3 elements in this, so looking quite interesting. They have a white paper and everything. They also have a roadmap with a token release, token staking, NFT drop, play to earn game launch, superpowers revealed, meta bunker, and then here the BioS token. So looking rather legit. The team is only taking 8% of the tokens, and they have a couple of partners listed over here. I would like to quickly look at their social media. They don't seem to have a Twitter. They do have a Instagram, but I'm not logged in, so I cannot review that. Facebook and a YouTube, but their YouTube doesn't seem to be linked either. So unfortunate. So yeah, but overall looking like a pretty okay project. I can't make any assumptions whether this is going to go bullish or not. It's a bear market, it's a mobile game, so it's probably not going to be too crazy, but it's not looking like a complete disaster at least, so that's a good sign. Now, as for Sleep, I cannot review the website because it is not popping up. Maybe their Twitter is properly linked. Yeah, there we go. So we can navigate through here. Sleep has 107,000 followers, so it certainly is a project with a big following, which is of course a good thing. Join today and earn while you sleep. This is our website. You can download the app soon. This is how it's going to look like. So you will see the amount of hours that you've slept, what you've earned for those hours that you were sleeping. You can level up. I think you can upgrade your bed and all that. You can start sleeping, etc. There will be GameFi modes. They have, this is not updated actually. So all of that still has to be done. Here's their roadmap. So this is, where are we right now? We're in Q3 2022 right now. So the beta app testing, public beta, and the app launch. So they're going to be launching their token right around the time that they're going to be launching their app, which is good. That way the token will actually have some form of utility, either when the TGE happens or shortly after. That's going to be very good for the price. It's going to make sure that the token price doesn't immediately dump down because there's no utility. Having that utility at the TGE is going to allow people to actually reap some profits maybe. So that is good looking if they stick to the roadmap at least. After that, they're going to continue to update the app. There will be an in-app trade function, a multi-chain wallet, and a rental system. And then in Q1 2023, the SocialFi platform, achievement system, and the community events. Now they do have a bunch of other months listed over here leading up to where we are right now. So a pretty detailed roadmap overall. They've been featured in Yahoo News, Yahoo Finance, Yahoo Money, MarketWatch, Bazinga, International Business Times, and Digital Journal. So enough about the projects. Overall looking pretty solid from the get-go, right? We have some competent projects coming up. I cannot make any assumptions how they will react in the market, but they are looking good. That's all we can say right now. Now, as for the completed IDOs, we don't have a lot of IDOs that have been completed. In fact, we only have one, and that is Tangible. Now, they raised a relatively large raise for a newer launchpad such as Peakdefi, $200,000. They fully sold out the project for a token price of $2. Selling out on your first IDO in a bear market is a really good sign, especially because this isn't even their own token, right? They only launched a other IDO, and thus far it's looking pretty cool, right? Cool as in the sense like they fully sold it out. So there's definitely some community sentiment on there that's working in their favor. Here they have a little roadmap for the sale, going from the registration opening to the registration closing, the sales and the sale ending, ended in May 1st of 2022. The TGE is to be announced, so we cannot actually track how it went as we don't have a token release yet. So they finished the sale, TGE is yet to arrive, so hopefully soon, and then we can come back to it. So we don't actually have any data on their average ROI or how their projects have lasted or how they've done, right? Because all we know is that they've done one project thus far, it fully sold out, and the TGE is yet to happen, and they have 4 projects in the pipeline, one very soon to launch. So Peakdefi is in its starter shoes, right? Kind of in its infancy. It hasn't been around that long. It hasn't really had any TGEs yet, and only one project that they've actually done. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not about how long they've been around. It's about how well they perform. Now, thus far, right, selling out on that first IDO and already having 4 in the pipeline, certainly a very good sign. Regardless though, the only way we can truly find out if Peakdefi will be successful in its later life stages, we're gonna have to look at their tokenomics and their white paper. So that's basically what we're going to do right now. Before we do, however, quick look around on the website. Is there anything that we might have missed? Here you have this staking platform. You'll be able to stake your Peakdefi right here and approve. Pretty straightforward, right? After you've connected your wallet. You can also withdraw your Peak right there. You'll have all of your staking stats, right? The current APY, your staked Peak, and your earned Peak. And here the total stats of Peakdefi with more than 45 million currently staked, roughly translating to around $501,000 locked up, and the total rewards distributed is already at around $2,800 in total. Pretty cool stuff. Moving over now to the what is this? Oh, this is the proposal submission for if you want to launch your project on here. Not very relevant. So let's move over to the token first, and then we talk about the white paper. Now the token has 12,000 watchlisted members, meaning that at least 12,000 people seem to be interested in the token. It's above average, meaning, well, it has quite a big pool of people interested in the token at least. Obviously very important. It's ranking at 670, which again is rather high. Market cap has in quite a short time reached all the way up to nearly 15 million, which is impressive. Fully diluted market cap is all the way up there at 24.3 million. Volume is around 111,000. It increased 55% over the last 24 hours, which is a pretty significant increase in trade. Now, as for the token movement, it is very volatile, up and down, quite predictable, which is the good thing, right? It is always going up and down and yeah, kind of in the same pattern. But on the other hand, we have these big unpredictable spikes as well, making it quite tricky for the short-term trading. In the long run, however, the token seems to be rather stable. It is a little bit below TGE price. It's at its all-time low right now, clearly due to market conditions as well, and the fact that their projects right now aren't launching just for a little while longer. So the token utility isn't as strong. Market conditions are very bearish. So the token therefore is at a very low point in their lifetime. Their lifetime, however, is quite long. They started all the way from 2020, but Peakdefi is more than just a launchpad, right? So the token was already around all the way back in 2020, and the launchpad started somewhere early in 2022/late 2021. So this is kind of where the launchpad started. So very unfortunate timing for the Peakdefi platform, basically launching this launchpad when the bull run ended. If they did it a couple months before, then they would have reaped a lot more benefits. But now, of course, having a launchpad in this bear market is very difficult, very challenging. So a little bit of unfortunate timing there. Regardless, they've continued to build and manage the launchpad, which I can only respect. Now, as for the price of the token, right, it's never been this low. So it's hard to imagine that it's never going to go up again, right? When market conditions do better and they've got the chance to prove themselves with their IDOs, then it is entirely feasible that this price will go up by a lot. Now, for now, however, it doesn't seem like they're going to break out of this pattern anytime soon. The token seems to have stabilized. It's no longer on a downward trend ever since earlier this year. So right now, token is stable and waiting for market conditions to basically pump up. Now, again, it's not financial advice. Maybe it will go down further. It all really depends on how the next launches are going to go. Do the launches do well, then there's probably going to be a lot of hype surrounding the Peakdefi Launchpad. If the market conditions improve, that will probably also push the token up. But for now, however, in the current situation, the token seems to have stabilized, which is a really good sign. And then from here, it has a platform to increase in price again. So is this a good entry point? Well, that's up to you. I do think it's a good entry point. The token is at its all-time lows. The Launchpad is definitely going places and the team is working hard. So yeah, I don't see the token going much lower than this, likely. So a good entry point, yeah, I think so. I think it could be a good entry point. Now, as for the current market cap sentiment, quite 50-50, right? We have a couple of bullish sentiments, a couple of bearish ones. So a lot of these are actually in German. So probably a German majority on this Launchpad, and again, German, right, just purely analytical, is very big on investments, right? They have a lot of money to spend on average, so that is why we're seeing these big raises as well. And for the rest, we have the holders over here, quite a significant amount of holders at 10.2 thousand. Now keep in mind, Peakdefi is more than just a launchpad. A lot of people that are holding this token, not because they want an IDO, but because of other reasons and utility. But certainly a good chunk of these holders is participating in the launches as well. So 10,000, quite a lot. Transfers not so much, right? Compared to 10,000 holders, 187,000 of volume isn't that high. Makes sense if we look at how much tokens are locked up. They're frozen, so they're not moving. So it makes sense that the volume isn't as high as you might expect. Now, all of these 48%, 31%, and 11% are all locked up in contracts. Here as well, Uniswap contract 0.5%, more Uniswap. So this is where the real wallets kind of start. We see a couple wallets for about 24,000. Then over here, we have a bunch of investors ranging around 1 to 10,000 US dollars. So certainly have a bunch of large investors. Now, what I always say in my reviews is, you shouldn't be carried away, right? You shouldn't just because a couple of very big investors, probably very seasoned investors, decided that this was a good investment, just believe them and follow them, right? But it is always a good indicator. If all of these people decide to invest a lot of money in this platform, then it is a good sign. But it shouldn't be your only sign, but it is something that we take into consideration. Now over here you can see it takes all the way up to 70 for the investors to go below 1,000 US dollars. Now keep in mind that a lot of this value has been locked up, right? They are locked up by contracts, smart contracts, and that does leave a lot of the price in the hands of a couple of big wallets and of course the locked up tokens. And that is also the difference that we see over here from the fully diluted market cap and the market cap. So yeah, that is something to keep in mind. There's a lot of tokens yet to be released. There's a lot of tokens currently stuck, and there is a lot of tokens held by some big investors, which can lead to some significant price changes, such as we see over here, or more spectacularly in the 7-day chart, right? This is just big investors having a large influence on the price because their liquidity is too low and there is too many big investors that can influence the price. Is it a bad thing? Yes. Is it a really bad thing? No, not really, but absolutely worth keeping in mind. Now we're going to move over to the white paper of Peakdefi. Now again, something to keep in mind is that this is the white paper of Peakdefi, and Peakdefi is more than just a launchpad, so there's going to be a lot of stuff in here. Not all of it will be launchpad related, so we're going to kind of fly through it, go pretty quickly, and try and zoom in on the things that are relevant. So the vision, of course, quite relevant. The vision of Peakdefi is to enable everybody on the planet to grow their wealth, no matter what position they are in at the moment. We want to provide decentralized investment gateway that is easy to use and accessible for millions of people to share their future. Now, they did some market research regarding decentralized finance, traditional markets, and their flaws. Let me zoom in a little bit to make it a bit easier to read. In today's world, almost every financial service is run by a centralized construct of banks. A life without any form of money is not possible. Now, we see here a couple of indicators why the system doesn't work, right? Why it is better to move over to the decentralized finance system. Well, that really does depend on what you prefer yourself, but at least they did their research and they explained it in the white paper. High cost and low transactions, the unbanked, lack of trust, and global inequality. And then here is what decentralization finance is supposed to solve. DeFi disrupting the financial market. While the flaws of the traditional financial system are based on the centralized bureaucratic behemoth of trust, administration, and regulation, decentralized finance is about to break this construct altogether. All right. So very big on DeFi and all of that, right? Here they show the DeFi landscape. Again, just more market research. Peakdefi Global Fund. Yep. So what we really want to find are the tokenomics roadmap and the token utility. All of this is just market research. Important to be in the white paper, not very important to read. For managers, no. Here, the global fund management, yep. Here are the formulas, and these are actually mandatory in any white paper illegally. That is why you are seeing those, not really of any form of importance. This is for affiliates. This is the global fund again. Yeah, here we finally have the Peak token, the tokenomics of Peakdefi. So 40% staking on the ETH chain. It's very interesting. 40% of their tokens are reserved for staking on the ETH chain. 40% staking on the Binance Smart Chain. 28% for the market peak community on ETH chain, 6.4% for market peak community on Binance Smart Chain, 3.52, oddly specific number, % for yield farming for liquidity. Only 8% will go to the founders and the team. 8% is quite a significant amount below average. 0.04% for initial peak liquidity on ETH chain, and 0.04% initial peak liquidity on the Binance Smart Chain. Very low amounts of liquidity there. Again, that is what we've been seeing in the volatility of the token, a clear lack of that liquidity. But again, this is for the Binance Smart Chain and this is for the ETH chain. So that is the tokenomics. I'm not seeing any tokens for the development, so I'm very interested to see how they did that. This token is required for to manage assets as a trader, incentivizing the community growth through the reward system, reward liquidity providers, stimulating the fund through protection staking, and compensating development of the platform. Now here they go in depth on the Peak token. The Peak token distribution had to be updated as the Peak token has been integrated to the Binance Smart Chain for performance reasons. And the government's proposal to distribute Peak tokens to the new Market Peak members was successful. The hard cap of Peak is now 2.5 billion. Peak and the tokenomics are splitted between Ethereum blockchain and the Binance Smart Chain. The following matter: 40% is 1 billion Peak remain reserved for staking on the Ethereum blockchain. 8% is 200 million Peak remain reserved and locked up for the team's founders on the Ethereum blockchain. Okay, so that is interesting. They go in even more detail over here, but it's not really that relevant. But it is quite interesting to see them split among both the Binance Smart Chain and the Ethereum blockchain. Also, we do not see a vesting schedule, which is a little bit annoying. Would have loved to see that. It's actually really important. And here we have some more formulas. The Peak token, the staking bonus, right? So this is just basically explaining basic staking. The longer you stake, exponentially you'll get more rewards. I think we all understand that, but they explain that over here. And I think that's about all the relevant information from the white paper. Oh, the Peakdefi app. So they will also have their own app on mobile, which is very good, very scalable. There's way more people using DeFi stuff on their phones nowadays. So obviously good that that's there. Looking quite solid as well, very clean. And then of course we have the Peakdefi Launchpad, which we are covering in this video. They talk about why they decided to have a launchpad. And in April 2022, our own Peakdefi Launchpad went live. So yeah, that was in the bear market that they decided to make a launchpad, which I think is a very interesting decision. I think they mostly did it from the thought, hey, let's build this launchpad while the market is down, so that when the market is up, we can participate in the launches, right? We can have this launchpad ready. So it's an interesting decision, which must indicate that Peakdefi had the money to spare. Developing and creating a launchpad is not something that's for free, and in a bear market, launchpads are bleeding, so it's not really generating money for the company. So we really should see this as an investment, which I think is a very smart decision. So even if the launchpad isn't performing well right now, they are creating it now so that they're done when the bull run hits. I think that's really smart. I don't have that much information around the launchpad. Oh, actually they do. They have the tiered system over here, but we already covered that. Our staking system, stake Peak to get allocation and earn up to 20% APY. So here are their APYs, 2 weeks, 30, 4 weeks, 20, 6 weeks, 10, 8 weeks, 5. After 8 weeks, there will be no further penalty for fees for withdrawing the Peak tokens. Okay, so after 8 weeks, you can withdraw. That is, withdraw early, I mean. So good. Challenge and changes for Peakdefi. Here's even a more market and competition research. The traditional hedge funds and then the performance-based DeFi fund, more comparing. Then here is another interesting part, which is the team. They appear to be fully doxed. We have a name, a full name, and a profile picture. I don't see LinkedIn's link, but I assume that they have it. We see here Sergey Heck, Founder and Chief Executive Officer, and the Benjamin Bending, Chief Technical Officer, and then Jonas Mahmoud, Chief Communication Officer. So good to see that they're fully doxed. That is, of course, a huge positive to any launchpad or crypto platform that we cover on this channel. So I'm very happy to see that. The names don't really ring a bell to me. Maybe they do to you. I don't know these fellas, but this seems to be the core team over there. And then here we have the rest of the team, Solidity Engineer, iOS Developer, Android Developer. So these are working on the mobile version, and the Solidity Engineer is the blockchain specialist. So that seems to be a team of around 6 people right now, which is very healthy. That is a good team size for the size of Peakdefi. And we can assume that they also have other freelancers working for them. So the team is probably slightly bigger, but this is their core team. Fully doxed, I like that. Here we have their roadmap finally, starting all the way back in February 2022, moving all the way over to December 2022. So a very lengthy roadmap, and the longer they are, the better. The more detailed they are, the better. So I'm quite bullish on this roadmap. Again, the Launchpad started around April or May it was. So I believe it was April, yeah, over here. That's also where they stopped updating the roadmap for now. So our roadmap basically starts from April, but we're going to start from the beginning of Peakdefi. So in February 2020, the creation of Peakdefi Peak token on the Ethereum blockchain and listing on 3 exchanges. So it makes sense, right? They kind of started the brainstorming around Peakdefi probably around the end of 2019. They started at 2020. Back then, Ethereum was the logical choice and the Binance Smart Chain was less of a thing. So it makes sense that they started on Ethereum and later down the line started transferring to the Binance Smart Chain. Makes sense when you look at the time frame. After that, they launched the Peakdefi wallet app. And after that, the launch of the Peakdefi fund protocol and staking. So they went pretty fast in terms of development over there. In March 2021, so that's a bit of a time jump, Peakdefi enters Binance Smart Chain and provides liquidity on PancakeSwap. Peak Stake is also available on BNC. So on March 2021, they introduced Binance Smart Chain quite early on, actually. So there's that. Then December of 2021, I'm making a way too big of a jump. Peakdefi wallet app. Peakdefi launched decentralized NFT funds in June 2021. The start of the Peak liquidity mining in the August of 2021, that's 1 year ago. October 2021 saw the start of the protection staking to cover trading losses at the DeFi fund. And then we go to December 2021. Peakdefi governance launched to provide the direction of the protocol to the community. And then the roadmap seems to stop at the Peakdefi Launchpad being launched and the decentralized multi-chain Launchpad starting on the Binance Smart Chain. Now, we are supposed, because we're right now in September, to have already seen the Launchpad and decentralized yield funding on Polygon, the Launchpad integration of BSC, Polygon, Avalanche, Phantom, and other 2-layer solutions, so to make the Launchpad fully cross-chain. Now, if that already happened, I have to say I am not entirely certain. On their white paper, they don't indicate that it has, but then again, it could just not be up to date either. They don't show what chain these projects are on, which they really should, but they don't, so there's no way for us to know. So yeah, pretty good roadmap. The team seems to have been very stable, working on Peakdefi since 2020. Now again, 2 years in crypto is a very long time, so this project has been around for a while. Launchpad has also been there for a couple of months. Roadmap seems to be quite professional, and the team has been working fairly hard. So good stuff. I like the roadmap. I'm quite bullish on it personally. And that is also just about the end of this white paper. So let's move into their Twitter to see the current status of the project and their community. So they have 57.1 thousand followers as of right now, which is, well, respectable. It's an okay amount. I expected a little bit more considering they've been in this space for so long, but 57,000 is an okay community. They post regularly. This was from May 23rd, but it was pinned. So over here, this was 2 hours ago with a big announcement. Are you ready for tomorrow? And then they basically announced the lottery winner. So yeah, they do stuff with the community, right? Lottery announcements, they tweet and all of that. They even make memes. Look at that. So yeah, quite active, which I like. It indicates that the team is communicating with the community, that they're actively working on the project and communicating that progress back to the community, which is actually very valuable. So they also do have quite some interaction with the community. A lot of, people talking and all that. So looking pretty solid. They also do have a Medium and I believe even an Instagram and all of that. So you can find them everywhere. They also have a Medium. There they post blogs and you can stay up to date. So if you are interested in Peakdefi Launchpad or Peakdefi in general, make sure to follow them on these social media platforms. I'm not advertising for them or whatever, but it really helps to follow these social media channels because they will keep you up to date with any IDOs, update, changes in the tiered system, etc. So it's just more of an advice. Now over on their blogs, they have 709 followers on Medium. They don't post that often, a couple times a month actually, sorry. So yeah, there's that. And overall, that is all about the Peakdefi Launchpad. Now, if we remove Launchpad from Peakdefi, we should be able to come to the main site. There we are. So let's quickly end this video off by looking at the Peakdefi as a whole to give you a bit of perspective of what this platform really is. So again, we have the Launchpad, we have the DeFi wallet and the DeFi fund, and then there's of course the Peakdefi app. So 3 ways to maximize your gains and take control of it. Launchpad to 10x your portfolio, DeFi wallet at your fingertips, and decentralized fund management by experts. Here they have once again their roadmap, and then of course the Peak token with a 75 million plus market cap over here, 2 billion all-time volume, 1.8 million transactions, and 30,000 total holders. Not really up to date. Of course, over here we clearly see 10.2, but yeah, they cannot always continuously adapt their website. Officially decentralized asset managing partner of West Ham United in London. So looking pretty bullish overall. So what is my final conclusion on Peakdefi? Overall, they have been around for so long and the price has been stable for quite a long while. The team is fully doxed and overall they've done some pretty cool stuff, right? We've seen the DeFi app, we've seen the DeFi Launchpad, their websites look clean, and they've been doing this since early 2020, which is such a long time in crypto that without a doubt in my mind, I can say that this team is committed and that this project isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Their Launchpad is destined to have a bad start because they started their Launchpad in a bear market. The Launchpads bleed the most during a bear market, but gain the most during a bull run. So what they said was, okay, we understand that the market is not good for a Launchpad right now, but we also understand that at the end of the tunnel, there will be a bull run. And when that happens, we don't want to miss out. So they started building their Launchpad during the bear so they could reap the benefit during the bull. And the investor should do the same. The token is at an all-time low. So it is a great time to buy, get your allocation, get into Peakdefi, and use the utility of this token when the market is looking better. Again, this is not financial advice, and I don't incentivize you to do anything. Definitely perform your own research, but in my opinion, this is a pretty good opportunity. That's all that I feel about Peakdefi though. Pretty cool looking team, chill dudes, and yeah, the coin market cap sentiment is a little bit iffy 50-50, but during a bear market you see that more often, right? Because people are losing money, so they tend to be a little bit agitated. Of course, every project has its downsides, and Peakdefi has its fair share of flaws. I mean, they have grammar issues in their white paper, which I hate. But hey, then again, I'm pretty bullish on this project overall. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao, ciao. Take care. Bye-bye.